Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man ending explained. First, the exile of Thomas Shelby. 6 years after the series finale, Tommy Shelby is a ghost living in a ruined mansion. He has traded his guns for a pen, writing his memoirs to escape the demons of his past. But peace is a lie. It's 1940, and the Birmingham Blitz is turning his city into a hellscape. Tommy is forced out of exile when he discovers a Nazi plot threatening his family. A Roma fortune teller named Kahlo arrives as the catalyst for his return. She reveals that his illegitimate son, Duke, has fallen into a deadly trap only Tommy can solve. Tommy's return to the Garrison Tavern is a classic moment, proving the Peaky Blinders haven't forgotten how to fight. He brings a grenade to a gunfight, showing he is still the most dangerous man alive. However, he is physically frayed, suffering from intense opium visions and PTSD from the Great War. He isn't fighting for power anymore. He is fighting for a final conclusion to his legend. As he rides into Birmingham on a black horse, the white horse of peace is gone. The horseman of the apocalypse has returned for one last reckoning. Second, the 1940 Birmingham Blitz looks at the sky for planes. Tommy looks at the shadows for the traitors within his own ranks. He knows that the real war for Birmingham is fought in the alleys, not the air. He reunites with Johnny Dogs, the only man he still trusts to watch his back in a world gone mad. Together, they begin to gather the old guard for one final mission. The fire of the Blitz reignites the fire in Tommy's eyes, reminding everyone that he is the only man who can lead through the flames. Third, the rise of the Duke, the new king. While Tommy was in exile, his son Duke has taken control of the Peaky Blinders. Duke is violent, impetuous, and lacks the strategic patience that made his father a legend. He has turned the gang into war profiteers, dealing in the black market while the city suffers. Duke is making a name for himself, but he is doing it the wrong way, the bloody way. Duke sees Tommy not as a hero, but as a weak old man who abandoned his empire when things got difficult. The tension between father and son is the true heart of the movie's conflict. He is easily manipulated by external forces who want to use the Shelby. Duke represents the danger of power without control, a recurring theme in the Shelby. Tommy realizes that if he doesn't intervene, Duke will destroy everything the family worked for in a single month. He has to teach his son that a king doesn't just kill, a king rules. Duke's rise is the signal that the old era is ending and the next generation is ready to take the crown, even if they have to steal it. Fourth, the ghost of Aunt Polly. Even in death, Polly Gray remains the spiritual anchor of the family. Tommy continues to hear her voice in the wind, a reminder of the gypsy way he tried to leave behind. Her absence is the reason the family has fractured. Without her, there is no one to hold the brothers together. Tommy visits her portrait, seeking the guidance he once took for granted. In his opium visions, Polly appears to him, not as a comfort, but as a warning about the path he is on. She tells him that the immortal man is a lie, and that every debt must eventually be paid in blood. The movie uses these ghostly encounters to show that Tommy is never truly alone. He is surrounded by the dead. Polly's presence reinforces the supernatural elements that have always haunted the series. She represents the conscience that Tommy tried to bury, forcing him to look at the collateral damage of his ambition. Her ghost is the only thing Tommy truly fears. Ultimately, it is Polly's memory that gives him the strength to face his final reckoning at the docks. Fifth, the Nazi counterfeit plot. The main threat comes from John Beckett, a Nazi agent flooding the UK with forged banknotes. This is a real historical plot called Operation Bernhard, designed to collapse the British economy. Beckett uses the criminal underworld to distribute the money, making the gangs unintentional traitors. Tommy is the only one who recognizes the pattern before the banks start to fail. The counterfeit money is a biological weapon in the form of paper, turning every transaction into a risk. It's a sophisticated evil that requires a sophisticated criminal to stop it. Tommy tracks the shipments to the Birmingham Canal system, realizing the scale of the infiltration. He sees how the Nazis have used the city's industrial pride against itself. He has to balance his role as a patriot with his role as a gangster to dismantle the operation. This isn't just about business anymore. It's about the survival of the nation. The plot reveals that the enemies of the crown aren't just in Berlin. They're in the pubs and warehouses of Small Heath. 6. The tragic truth of Arthur Shelby. The movie reveals a dark secret. Arthur Shelby did not commit suicide, as the family believed. In a booze-fueled rage years ago, Tommy actually killed his own brother during a violent argument. This revelation finally confesses the truth to Duke. It breaks the final bond of trust between father and son. It sets the stage for the final betrayal. Arthur's ghost hangs over the entire final act, a reminder that the Peaky Blinders always end in tragedy. 7th, the final reckoning at the docks. The climax takes place at the Birmingham docks, where the final shipment of counterfeit money is being held. Tommy leads a small team of survivors into the heart of the Nazi operation. It's a claustrophobic, violent battle that mirrors the trenches of the Great War. Tommy moves through the containers like a predator, taking out Beckett's men one by one. He uses a mine to blow up the containers, burning millions of pounds in forged currency to cinders. The fire is a cleansing light, wiping away the Nazi rot from his city. In the final standoff, Tommy confronts Beckett in a bullet-riddled warehouse. He takes 2 shots to the stomach but refuses to go down until his enemy is dead. He kills Beckett with a single, perfect shot to the head, proving that even a dying Thomas Shelby is the apex predator. The battle ends with Tommy alone in the rubble, finally having finished the war he started in 1919. 8. The legacy of the Immortal Man. Bleeding out, Tommy tells Duke that for the legend to live, the man must die. He instructs his son to shoot him in front of the survivors to seal Duke's place as the new leader. Duke pulls the trigger, and Thomas Shelby dies in his son's arms. It is a calculated, cold, and perfect ending for a man who always lived by his own rules. The film ends with a traditional Romany funeral pyre on the moors. Tommy's body is burned inside a wheeled carriage, surrounded by the photos of the family he lost. His memoir, titled The Immortal Man, is retrieved by Kahlo, ensuring that his story will be told for generations. He has moved from a man into a myth. The final shot shows Duke leading the gang back into Birmingham, wearing the same flat cap and the same cold stare as his father. The cycle begins again. Thomas Shelby is gone, but the Peaky Blinders are forever. The end is here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe,